Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with yet another Perils in Paradise card review. They reveals have been coming out like crazy today. 7 more neutrals to go over, including some pretty terrifying pirates. There's a lot of crazy cards in here. The design's all over the place. Should be a lot of fun to go over. If you want to win some of these crazy cards, we have a giveaway going on for 2 regular pre-orders, 1 mega bundle out of my pocket to enter that giveaway. Like and comment in the video, link down in the description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel. Every 1,000 subs we get until all the cards are revealed, I will add another mega bundle. So hit that sub button, make me go broke. So starting off, we have an adorable 1 mana Naga, the Tide Pool Pupil, a 1 mana 2/1 Naga. Battle Cry. If you cast 3 spells while holding this, discover one of them. So you play the coin, you play 2 other spells, you'll get an option between the coin and those 2 other spells. What deck particularly wants this? Well, obviously, like the sharpshooter, Naga DH would absolutely love a card like this. Not only is it a cheap Naga to help refresh some mana and draw a spell and deal some damage, it can give you another spell to keep that cycle going and do some really good stuff. Another very spell-heavy deck might like to utilize this. You could get multiple copies of, let's say, you're going crazy in Death Knight, getting another climactic necrotic explosion. Not very likely, but you could try and manipulate this to get you a very specific spell, which could be quite nice. It's a relatively, obviously cheap minion, not premium statted, but a pretty good effect. This will get a 3 out of 5 from me in standard. I think it absolutely see play. Again, I'm looking at Naga DH. They'd love that card. If Naga Mage was still a thing, they would absolutely play this card. And I'll give it a 3. I think it pops into those decks in Wild. Not really as much a strategy, although you could get more ice blocks in your Quest Mage and proc your quest even more, although that deck is more just about pure APM and like animation hacking. Like the most people that are climbing with it are literally cheating with it. But if you want to play like regular Quest Mage, yeah, it might be pretty decent. I'll give it 3 in Wild too. It absolutely has validity in both formats. It is a pretty gnarly card there. Next, we have a card that is going to be the nightmare of many arena player, the Snoozing Zookeeper. It is a 7 mana 5/8 minion, so that's pretty awful. However, Battle Cry, you summon an 8/8 beast for your opponent. It attacks all of their minions, and you get this rampaging beast. It's just an 8 mana 8/8 textless beast, and it'll just murder their opponents, I guess, until it dies. So you play this in arena, it's like a board clear almost a lot of the time. It's like a twisting nether. In standard, I guess like it's a neutral board clear to an extent. It can be pretty good. You can mess with the res spell in Hunter, so they resurrect just bland 8 mana 8/8, I guess. I can't imagine this is a playable ladder card. You can, of course, brand, shutter block, all that good stuff. Is it absolutely a hilarious type of minion? Although I believe if their board is full, you'll just play a 7 mana 5/8, right? They have to have a board space open for this card, so against like a Flood Paladin, it might just not even do anything, which would be even worse. I don't think this comes in as like a fringe tech option. Maybe it's good enough for like a Reno deck to play as just like another pseudo board clear. It's absolutely possible, but I'm still gonna lean towards a 2 out of 5 in standard and Wild. Although again, you can shutter walk this and just summon infinite 8/8 beasts to murder your opponent's minions. That would be really funny to watch, and I might actually try that out. So I'll give it a 2 out of 5 in standard Wild, but honestly, I could be wrong about this. This one could actually pop up because, you know, how many neutral pseudo board clears are there like this? It can also just hit a poisonous minion and die, or there's just a bunch of Divine Shield minions and it doesn't do anything or death rattles. But still, I think the flavor is pretty awesome and it's a pretty cool card. Next, we have a new pirate, the 2 mana 4/1 Bloodsail Recruiter, pirate itself, of course. Battle Cry, discover a pirate. That's pretty good. Remember, anytime we mention a pirate, remember Toy Boat is in standard. That card is insane. If you've played Wild, you know how good it is. It's just there's not a lot of great pirates. We're getting pirates like this where you get a pirate, you get another one, you could draw 2 cards with that Toy Boat. It's got 4 attack. Like, it does obviously have 1 health, so it dies to almost everything, but you can't really ignore it. It's value, it's a pirate, it's got a lot going for it. Even, I don't think you played in Wild where the pool of pirates is bad and all that, but in standard, absolutely could pop up. But yeah, 1 health probably kills the card. But still, I'll give it a 3. I'm not going to write it off. 2 mana, discover a card with the tribal synergies, a lot of good stuff going on for it. I'll give it 3 in standard, a 2 in wild, but look out, there's also a pirate you're probably going to want to try and discover with this. And well, that pirate is the Dread Deserter, a 6 mana, 6/6 epic pirate. This has charge if this didn't start in your deck. So if you discover it with the 4/1, you have a 6 mana, 6/6 charge. That's really good if you somehow like copy that with other effects and like shuffle it into your deck. Or I don't believe shadow stepping this should work because the base one started in your deck, but like any other like copying effect or thing like that, all of a sudden you have a bunch of chargers. That could be something. But again, a card that you strictly don't really want to run. Maybe you combo with Goldbeard, right? Goldbeard, I guess the first one wouldn't have charge, but the other ones would have charge, but they attack anyways. There's some weird shenanigans with it. I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm not sold on it. I can't think of any really great synergies to make it work considering it's relatively expensive. And, you know, if you're hard running it in your deck, it's just like, I gotta build around it to make it useful. And it's 6 mana. Not sold on it, but it is pretty crazy in its flavor. I don't know if I've ever seen a card that strictly benefits from being randomly created like that. It's one of the highest up there anyways. And in wild, I'll give it a 2 as well. Although if you get it off the ship's cannon from the warrior quest, I guess it always has charge, which is just disgusting. Next, we have the Lamplighter, a 3 mana, 3/2 elemental battle cry. Deal 1 damage. It's improved by each turn in a row you have played an elemental. So you play an elemental on 1, you play an elemental on 2, and then you play an elemental on 3. This is a 3 mana 3/2, deal 3, which can go face. It can go face. So you could play 2 of these in your deck, and you know, you've played 10 elementals in a row, 10 turns. You could play Lamplighter. That's like what, 11 damage each? That's pretty good. It's no shock spitter in that regard, but it is one of the more powerful elementals we've seen with this effect. None of them have really seen meta play. You have Scar, which has not been good enough. You have like that 4 mana 3/2 for Mage that fills the board, which hasn't really been good enough. This is a card you can split in half with Mezadune. It might be one of the cards that really can help put Elemental Mage in particular, or Elemental Shaman in particular, over the top because it's relatively cheap. This can go face, it can be tempo removal, it can do a lot of different stuff. I think this is a really solid card. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Obviously, it only goes into strict elemental decks, but I get that shock spitter style of vibe where, yeah, this could be really good. And I guess it doesn't really work with Shutter Block because you can't point base with it. But imagine it did, that would be pretty incredible. But I will give it a 4. I think it's a really strong elemental. And in wild, where that strategy is too slow, I will give it a 2. But again, you never know. Shutterwalk can do some pretty good stuff, although it can hit you in the face. It can hit literally anything in the face. Next, we have the Overplanner, a 3 mana 3/3 battle cry. You discover 3 cards in your deck to put on top in that order. So I believe the first discover goes on the top of your deck, and then after that, and after that, maybe it's the other way around. Not entirely sure. Regardless, you get to, yeah, just reorder your deck a little bit, which we know could be a pretty powerful effect, especially we got like that 4 mana 5/4 beast that lets you add a 1 mana card to your hand, so you can like manipulate that draw as well. I always just really enjoy cards that let you manipulate your deck in some way. It can allow for creative deck building and just all sorts of different shenanigans. In wild, you can like use Dredge or Lorekeeper Polecat maybe, I don't know, to somehow mess with stuff as well. Really cool, interesting card. I think it sees play somewhere. Like, why not? This could absolutely, in some kind of combo deck or controlling style deck, you just really want that particular order. You want to find those cards to get to them sooner. I'll give it a 3. Again, it's a 3 mana 3/3. How can I not give this a 3? And in wild, I'll give it a 3 too, because again, those type of effects have been pretty prevalent over the years and see play to this day in the format. Next, we have, oh God, I don't like this card, a 3 mana 3/4 pirate, the Concierge. It has the text on it of your cards from another class costs one less. Already have a card this set that makes cards from your opponent's hand that didn't start in their deck cost 2 more. Now we have a card to counteract that card, where if they have 2 on the board, it'll net everything out. They'll just cost the mana it's supposed to be. Tech on tech action. Is this good? I don't know. It's more mana cheat for Rogue is all I'm really looking at. I guess like a Thief Priest can use that as well. They're steel, but maybe it's a Priest Mirror, but then already you just don't want to play the game. You probably conceded already because that's the worst experience ever. Regardless, I don't know. Like Pirates, typically you just want to play for Pirate synergies and what they're doing on the board. This effect on its own, not entirely sure is good enough, but you can play 2 of them and then you get -2 mana on cards from another class, cost less. So who knows? I just see this as a rogue card for the most part, and I still don't think it makes the cut, but it's something that will still drive me crazy one way or another. We'll give it a 2 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in wild. But yeah, why more mana cheat? I want more mana buffing. Make things cost more, not less. Next, we have the Bay Fin Body Builder, a 5 mana, 4/7 Murloc. After a minion is summoned for your opponent during your turn, silence and destroy it. Has to be one of the weirdest like texts on a card. Like your opponent needs to summon a minion on your turn. So I guess you're proccing a death rattle, or you're yoinking, you're dirty ratting them, and then you silence that minion, destroy it. It's a really weird one, right? Like I don't know what you're playing this for. It's pretty hilarious. Like the stat line's pretty good. A 4/7 Burlock. It's just weird, right? It's just so weird that it only works on your turn, not just in general. Obviously it'd be nuts if you just play this, any minion they play with silenced and destroyed, but you're mainly looking at like disruption options to yoink it out of their hand, proc death rattles, or like I guess hit a demon off of Nebsy or something. I don't know what this he's playing. I don't know how to evaluate this, so I'm gonna give it a 2 in both formats, but it's absolutely a wild card. And lastly, why do we have to make a card like this? Why? We have the Sailboat Captain, a 3 mana 2/4 neutral pirate, battle cry. Give a friendly pirate WINDFURY. Isn't that what we want more in the game of? Neutral WINDFURY options? What could go wrong here? You know, we got to buff a pirate. It only works on a pirate. But we all know how good WINDFURY can be. We all know how good pirates can be, how aggressive they can be. And now I'm playing a minion that can give them WINDFURY. That terrifies me. I don't like this at all. I don't know if it'll be meta or not. I don't know if pirate decks will be meta or not, but Sailboat Captain will absolutely help those pirate decks succeed. You could give your one amalgam band WINDFURY if it didn't already get WINDFURY. I guess you could always do that. So I'll give it a 3. I'm never going to write off neutral WINDFURY, especially at 3 mana, even as it's restricted to a tribe. It terrifies me. And in wild, I'll give it a 3 too. Pirate Rogue, you know, with Cold Bloods, that could be really good. Like you play this on 4, you play Sailboat onto a cheap pirate with Cold Blood and they're dead. Like they're just dead. That could be really disgusting. So yeah, I'll actually give this a 4 in wild now that I think about it. That's disgusting. Anyways, yeah, yahar! We're getting some pirates and I'm a little bit terrified. We'll see how it goes. That's all the reveals for today. A lot of cards. We'll have even more cards to talk about tomorrow. And then I think on Wednesday, we have our own major reveal. So stay tuned for all that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.